Hello, it's so I've just got weighed in today. Today is the is the Monday, and I weighed in at 10 stone 3, so I lost my half a pound, and that puts me in my new target. So I decided to set myself my target at 10 stone 3. So that I could then go down to 10 stone or up to 10 stone 6. So I'm here. Oh, just realised there's a little, I think got away with that. Just fell over. Pen just fell into guys. Oh, anyway. So I've either got so I've got to try and change my brain now, because I'm in my new target now. Do I want to carry on losing to get to 10 stone and then have 9 stone 11 as the lower end, or do I want to and then have 10 stone 3 as my top end? Do I want to have 10 stone 6 as my top end? I'm going to have to just hang around in here, I think, for a little bit. There's a bit of me that feels comfortable as I am right now. So 10 stone 6, was always okay with. I felt better there. I felt like I could fit in my size 12s then. And I can definitely feel that the fat on my belly is going a little bit. So I'm just going to stay here for a little bit. I'm going to stay here. Life is all a bit stressful at the moment. There's lots of, obviously the business is doing all right, but there's always more to do, and lots of customers to help. Lots of, we're doing because we've taken over North Horsham Live Aid, so there's a lot of event planning with that, Truncheonbury planning. The house we live in at the moment, we might be moving to go stay with Robin's mum instead, build on some extra rooms there instead of renting where we are. So it's all a little bit up in the air, all a bit muddly at the moment, and lots of stress and worry. So there's a bit of me thinking, just hold tight, just got to 10 stone 3, that's a good position to be in. Just stay there for a bit, stay there. Long term, if I want to be 10 stone, set that on my target, I can. I'm only £3 away from 10 stone, and 10 stone's still at the bottom end of my target. So if I want to hang around 10 stone, I am more than able, because it's the bottom end. So I'm just gonna stay here. It's like I think I'm fine. I think I feel more comfortable here than I do, but I've been that bit heavier. The 10 stone, I think it was 10 stone 4 to 10 stone 10 is where I was before, because 10 stone 7 was my target, and I'm more comfortable here than I was there. Just feel a little bit less, just a little bit better in my tummy area, I think. Just a little bit less, yeah, a bit less pudgy, a little bit less claggy, a bit kind of more. I feel there's a bit of me thinks that I'll feel comfortable. I mean, I still do have my belly flab. Whether I can show you my belly flab. I've still got my kind of leftover belly kind of area, you know, the stretch marks and everything, and all the kind of loose skin and all that sort of stuff. So I've still got extra weight on there, but I do feel like, just tucking it away in my trousers, I do feel a little bit like I've got a bump on the front of my belly. But on the other hand, it's not very big anymore. There's a bit of it always feels like, oh, if I push my belly out, I'll be huge, you know. But anyone can, you know. It's just going to be one of them things. If everywhere you slouch, you're going to have a big belly, aren't you? Whereas if you hold yourself upright like you're supposed to, with your posture right, then it sort of goes away. So I think there's going to be an element of just, I can't, with all my stretch marks and such, and all my excess skin and such from having the babies, and I just think there's a limit, and I think that's why I like the weight limit. I think I like the weight bracket better than I do the size bracket, because I think the size and the shape of my belly is always going to be under question, whereas if I think, right, no matter what I look like, no matter what's happening, I'll just stick within my bracket of weight, then I'll be fine. So I think right now for me, this is I'm lucky to be here, and I'm going to take advantage of that luck, and I'm gonna just hang tight. Go 3 pounds under. I think that's right, isn't it? Because I can go to 10 stone. Yeah, it is £6 in it, so it's £3 under, £3 over. I've also got a list of craving stuff, so I'm just going to grab that, because I did a fair bit of thinking about craving recently and how my perceptions of cravings has changed. I've just done a little list like this the other day, just because I kind of just, I don't know, sometimes things wiggle around in my head. So there was a time that I knew no cravings, because I gave in to them all the time. They were just wants that I gave into. So I remember when ages and ages ago, when people used to talk about cravings, I never really understood what they meant by cravings. And I understand it's because I never, I just ate stuff. I just like, well, I want to eat it, so I'll eat it. So there was no cravings involved, because I just eat the things anyway. And I wouldn't be able to be aware of them as cravings. They would just food I wanted to eat, so I ate it. When I made a plan to drop sugar, the cravings were more obvious. So I dropped non-savvy sins, basically. I mean, I still have sugar in the form of fruit, and all those types of dried fruit, and the added sugar in a baked beans and all those types of things. But I dropped the non-savvy sin sugars, the chocolates, and those types of things, sweets and that sort of stuff. And once I dropped them, cravings came in thick and hard. And because I wasn't fulfilling the sugar requirements that my body had, the cravings were really obvious, in terms of I could really feel like, all I could think about was cakes and biscuits and such things like that. And it was quite strong. The pull was really strong. So I really had an experience of what actually craving stuff really felt like. When I restricted my intake of, let's say, sins, via sins, I think. When I restricted my intake via sins, in terms of, so like when I did Slimming Well, food optimizing, when I restricted my intake via sins, I was aware of all the foods I had been eating. It's surprising that I was not heavier. So I remember when I started Slimming Well, dropped the sins, because obviously lots of the foods I was eating was quite high sins, and I was aware of all the foods that were high sin that I'd been eating, and it was surprising that I was not heavy. I was surprised by how much stuff I dropped. Fruisley bar. I mean, because I've always been really healthy, I thought. I mean, I wasn't particularly, I was still eating relatively healthy, but it was all of those Fruisley bars, the snack bars, lots, not counting the nuts. I was eating big cashew nuts, and it would be a large amount of cashew nuts and all those types of things. Recently, I am aware of cravings at all times, but they come in waves of strengths. Some weeks they are more muted than others. So I still very much experience cravings. Certain weeks when I'm feeling, I am very much aware the week before my period that I am far more susceptible to cravings. I'm aware that when life gets stressful, if I'm worried, if I feel like somebody's had a go at me, or I feel like I feel guilty, or I feel like I should have done better, then there's quite a high level of cravings that come in, comfort food cravings. but I can see them clearer. I can see them far more clearer now, because I'm not I'm not giving into them, because sometimes the cravings are like just craving. They're not even craving for a specific thing anymore. I can't give them the thing they're craving for, because it's like just a general, I need a food substance to make me feel better, and I'm trying to ask my brain, well, what do you want? It's like, I don't know, I just want the thing. It's like it doesn't even know what it can't even be specific anymore. They come in waves of strength, so some weeks I can still feel them. I still, if you see a picture or something, I'm like, I could eat that. Sometimes they're a bit very, very, very vague. Sometimes they're a bit more intense. Savvy sins have helped give me a boundary within which I stick. So I made a choice to just stick to healthy extra A's, healthy extra B's, free food, speed food, and savvy sins, and nothing else, just them. So if it doesn't fit within my savvy sins bracket, then I don't eat it, and I certainly do not have it in the house. There might be scenarios where I go over my sins if I'm going over somewhere or gone to something, and you end up in a situation where you eat something that's out of your normal food boundary. But in those scenarios, I try and food optimize and make the most of any fruits available, or those types of things. But a nice boundary. If it's not savvy sins, I'm not interested in it. So my personal savvy sins are dried fruits, nuts, the whole grain Melba toasts, an extra slice of wholemeal bread, what other things have I got around the place, olives, so they're things that are nutritious to me, and they are things that I do not feel like I want to eat loads of, and they are often things that are relatively low sin, so I feel like I'm getting the most for my sins. I am now aware of the difference between a craving and an interest in a food product. So I'm aware of when I'm interested in something. I quite like the idea of eating that, and the difference between the difference between that and something where it pulls me so much it's like almost impossible to get out of your head, and you can feel yourself have a bit of an out of body experience where you're just drawn to get the thing, and you're not even in your own head anymore. You just going on autopilot trying to get the thing. So I'm aware that the difference between those two, and I can recognise that just because I like the look of something doesn't mean necessarily it's a craving. I'm just interested in it. I certainly did try out techniques such as waiting for the cravings to pass, distracting myself with activity. So I tried all of those techniques with cravings, where they say, just 20 minutes it'll pass, etc. And I struggled with that. It was very hard. And the thing that really helped me was understanding that I struggled with that. And I think it's because I hadn't made the next decision, which was to take it out. So just stick to savvy sins and recognise that was just the way it was. There was no kind of messing about with the it was almost like I just had to give it no quarter, just had to give it no attention almost. So not even playing around with it, just kind of go, okay, I recognise that's a feeling that's coming through, but it's not something I need to act on. It's just a passing phase. And I used to experiment with trying to think, well, I'll give it a little bit of what it wants to satiate it. And I think I had to come to the decision where I just go, no, just not at all, because it's that's really helped mute, just ignoring them. Not distracting myself with activities either, so I don't distract myself anymore. I understand I'm not distracting myself from something. I'm just riding through something, and I'm just not that I'm waiting for it to pass, but I'm just carrying on with my life anyway. It's something that's happening, but it's not part of. I don't need to engage with it. I just need to just carry on with what I'm doing anyway. And once I took food that I craved out of the main eating pattern, I could find it easier to move on from them. Lots of easiers. So once I the food that I craved, so trigger foods, etc., I'd take them out of the main eating pattern. It's a lot easier to move on from them. So I think that's what I was talking about, how I could just I can understand that they didn't need to be part of my life. It wasn't a requirement. The pressure I felt to have them was only a societal pressure. It was only a peer pressure. It was only a kind of nostalgic pressure. There was no real reason why I needed to have tubes of Pringles. There was no reason why I wouldn't need to have white bread. There's no particular reason why I need any of those things. So just to take them out of my main eating pattern meant that I could understand what was normal for me, and the food then I ate was nourishing me. Because the thing is there's not very many sins. I mean, you've only got 15 sins, and I think I understood that I've always dabbled with that along the way, where I knew I was going to have to use my sins for healthy foods, because otherwise where I'm going to put them in, I can't. So I think I understood that I had to use my sins for nourishing foods, because I wasn't going to be able to sustain what I wanted to sustain without doing so. And I feel much better for it. I feel freer. I feel more in control. I feel less like I have to worry about what I'm eating. And it's joyous to be able to just go, I'm hungry, and then I know what in my house I can just eat. So I can grab a banana and a bag of cashew nuts, because they're already measured out, and I've already done all the hard work of measuring them all out, so therefore I could just pick up a snack pack. The kids like them. My son's really happy when I top up the sultana packs. So excited when the sultanas come back through. And I think I understand now that I'm helping my children, and I'm helping myself by making sure I'm nourishing myself and not messing about with chocolate and crisps. I feel better for it. Also, I wanted to say that at group today, I helped out with you to put the card in, and you give the person the money, and then they click, take the card out, and then then you can go get weighed, the paying area. Because my consultant was, she didn't have any other helpers to help her on that bit, and there was some new members sitting waiting to have a talk. So I said, well, have you got anybody else to help you? Like, have you got somebody else that's going to do it? And she's like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I sat down. It was quite funny, really, because I was a bit nervous, because I thought, well, you don't know, these systems and such, maybe they've got special ways, but it was very simple. You're just pressing a button. So I was like, okay, I could do that. I mean, I run my own shop, so I'm pretty sure I can, do that. So that was quite fun, really. I quite enjoyed myself. So it was nice to help. It was nice to be useful, and it was nice because I could be a friendly person that people came to pay their money, and I could. So it was nice. It was only for like 10 minutes, I think, until the other lady who was doing it normally came, and she just did it instead. And it was very nice as well, because I was able to talk today to a couple of people about they came to ask me about the banana situation. Because someone asked about the mashed banana, and they were like, oh, why is it sins and that? And I said about the fact that if you mash it, then it's too easy to consume all in one. And if Slim World say it's fine to mash, then people will be like, well, I'll just put it in a smoothie, or I'll just cook it with it, or blah blah blah, and all that sort of stuff. So they only do it to protect our weight loss. It was quite nice to be able to. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking too much, because I often put my hand over my mouth, because I'm like, you don't know whether it's a bit too much. Not everybody wants all the information in the world, and sometimes when I start, I'm like, okay, and you can tell them all about everything you ever found out about things. But so it was nice to be able to kind of explain about how, you know, if you slice it, it's fine. Even chop it up, it's fine. It's just remembering it's like not quite, just stick within the boundaries. It's like it's dipping your toe into maybe not such good habits. I mean, obviously a little bit of mashed banana is not going to hurt anyone, especially when it's chopped up into tiny pieces. It's basically the same as mashing. However, the reason why they say mashed banana is sins is to protect your weight loss. It's to because as soon as mashed banana's not sins, then it can go into everything. It can go into smoothies. It can go, you know, and it's just thinking, well, it's the same reason they just pop a little half sin on the Muller Lights, just to protect the fact that just it helps around. And it just, then you think, well, I can chop up my banana small, or it helps you choose a more food optimizing path. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong if you've chopped up your banana super small so it looks like it is a bit mashed. I mean, you're obviously just tweaking it ever so slightly. It's not really a big deal at the end of the day, but it's just one of them things you can choose. It's sort of, sometimes you can find you dipping your toe into maybe a dangerous pool. It doesn't, you know, you get away with it and it's not really a big deal. But it's just fascinating. I was just fascinated because when I first went to that group, I was a bit like, I don't really want to go to the group. I hate the group. She doesn't even know my name and nobody talks to me. And slowly but surely, I've kept going and I've kept going and I've kept going each time, and I've missed a couple times and I'm like, should I bother going back? And I'm like, yeah, I'll go back. And it's just slowly over time. June 2016 is when I first went, and we're just coming up to we're in February 2019, so just coming up to 3 years since I started, and it taken that long. Slow, but my group's really nice now. I feel very well supported there, and I feel like it's good because I can support other people. It's a nice thing to do. Right. Yes, it's 1 o'clock. I bet my soup will be nearly done. I've just put some, it's just simple soup, lentils, carrots, tin of new potatoes, some sweet potato, tin of mixed pulses, and some stock and chili flakes and a bit of black pepper. So that'll be all, some quinoa, I think. Yeah, put some quinoa in there. So that'll all be cooked up nice and soft. We're going to have some dinner and then I'll go and pick up the kids. I'm going to say bye-bye to everyone and I'll upload.